So.
Abortion is one of the most heated and divisive controversies in modern public policy debate. It's a tough issue that gives rise to passionate reactions on both sides. Unsurprisingly, moral philosophers have given the issue a good deal of attention over the years. And though the debate is perhaps no closer to being resolved now than it was when it first arose, it's interesting to note how philosophers have refined their understanding of the issues. In the early stages, philosophical debates over abortion tended to focus on a single question. Is the unborn fetus a person in the sense required for its possessing the moral right to life? If fetuses are persons in the same sense that you and I are, then it's highly plausible to suppose that they have the right to life, and that it's therefore morally wrong to end their lives by aborting them. On the other hand, if fetuses aren't persons in the morally relevant sense, for example, they're not yet sufficiently developed to count as having the same kind of moral standing that you and I have, then perhaps they don't have rights at all. Consequently, it could be argued that the mother is justified in ending the fetus's life for the sake of her own safety and autonomy. For surely, an adult woman does have a right to these things. Given the apparent implications on both sides of the issue, you can appreciate why the philosophical debate about abortion would focus so obsessively on the issue of whether or not the fetus is a person. However, in 1971, a philosopher by the name of Judith Jarvis Thomson wrote an article that really changed the game. At the heart of the article was her description of a fanciful hypothetical example, or thought experiment. Thomson's thought experiment looked like this.
Where am I? Whoa! Who are you? Are you okay? Hello? Hello? Is anybody here? Help! Help!
Oh, you are awake. Well, welcome back to the land of the living, and let me introduce myself. I'm Rosalie Goodhealth. I'm the director of this hospital.
I don't get it. I'm confused.
Oh, yes. I can appreciate your confusion. This may all seem a little odd. Well, let me explain. Your companion here is none other than Wolfgang von Dusseldorf, the world-famous concert violinist. And unfortunately, the maestro is suffering from a very rare kidney disease. And, well, let's just say he needs your help.
My help? He needs my help?
Well, it's mostly just bad luck. And those mischievous Society of Music Lovers. You see, when the society heard about the maestro's condition, they took it upon themselves to find a volunteer. Well, someone with a compatible circulatory system, the right blood type, and so forth. Well, they did a very thorough search of all the available medical records, and they found that you could help.
My help? What help? Why is this happening to me?
Well, you were available, and they found that you matched in total and complete compatibility. And to make a long story short, the maestro is going to need use of your circulatory system for, approximately the next 9 months, or longer, possibly for several years.
At least 9 months? Several years? I don't even remember anybody asking me. I certainly didn't volunteer for this.
Oh, yes, I know. Calling you a volunteer is a bit misleading, I suppose. What actually happened is that the Society of Music Lovers kidnapped you and put you under anesthetic as their hired surgeon plugged the maestro into you. You see, they're such ardent supporters of the maestro's art that they didn't want to take the chance that you'd refuse if they bothered to ask you permission. And believe me, we are sorry that this has happened to you. We'd never have permitted it in the first place if we had known the Society's plans, but what's done is done. And to unplug the maestro now would be to kill him. Oh, and you must remember, all persons have a right to life, and violinists are persons. And surely the right to life outweighs any right you may have to decide what to do with your own body. I'm sorry to have to say it, but you can never be unplugged while the maestro needs you. But don't worry, there's every reason to hope that 9 months from now, you'll be free as a bird. Do you have any questions?
Okay.
Thompson's idea was that it would be outrageous to think that this poor victim is morally required to sustain the life of the unconscious violinist. Though it would be very kind of her to agree to support the violinist's life for 9 months or perhaps several years, depending on how the example is described, it's by no means a moral duty to do so. Indeed, it would be fully within the victim's rights to refuse and to unplug the violinist without further ado. Note, however, that the violinist already is a person. That is, a full-fledged grown-up with the same kinds of rights that you and I have. If you agree with Thompson that the violinist's rights don't entitle him to the cooperation of the victim, then you're in effect granting that personhood can't be the whole story about abortion either. For by analogy, even if the fetus does count as a person, a mother may not be morally obligated to support its existence for the 9 months in which it depends upon her. If the victim isn't morally required to support the unconscious violinist, then the mother isn't obliged to support the fetus, even if the fetus does count as a person. Perhaps predictably, there's been much debate about Thompson's analysis of this kind of example, and not everyone agrees that the example shows what Thompson thinks it does. However, you'll notice that neither of the required readings for our module on abortion focuses much attention on the issue of whether or not the fetus is a person. In fact, they both adopt approaches to the debate that minimize the personhood issue and frame their own approaches to the issue from different angles. There's good reason to think that Thompson played a significant role in deepening our understanding of the abortion debate and in encouraging other philosophers to explore the issue from more nuanced and creative perspectives. Surely that's part of what it means to make progress in philosophy. By the way, Thompson's article is included in our textbook, and it's listed as an optional reading for our module on the abortion debate. If this episode has grabbed you, feel free to have a look at it.